Shields up, Iron Breakers. We're kind of here coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the Microsoft situation, wherein Microsoft's leadership is showing an absolute level of unheard of incompetence when it comes to managing their gaming division, causing in them now closing down several of their own studios, which, by the way, they've been buying relentlessly over the last couple of years, and due to their mismanagement of their own talent, we are now going to lose some of that talent. A lot of people are going to be out of a job, but don't worry about it because the Microsoft marketing department is working full steam ahead on the marketing for Hellblade 2. It's a tweet. That's the marketing of Hellblade 2. They made a tweet. Yeah, sure, there's been a couple of trailers that they released a while ago. However, were you aware that Hellblade 2 is actually releasing in about 2 weeks? Yeah, impressive, isn't it? Just like, here's a tweet, here's an image, here you go. There's not even a link in there. There's nothing. There's just like, here's a tweet. Here's our marketing department working at full capacity. You want to know another funny thing that the marketing department did? As the situation was happening and Microsoft was announcing publicly that they were closing the beloved studios of Tango Gameworks, Arkane Austin, as well as a couple of other studios. I don't have all of the data in front of me right now, even though we are going to be talking about some of the things about some of those studios that were being laid off. That marketing department was announcing, hey, we're making this brand new fire vapor controller. I don't know what the tagline was. It was Feel the Burn. I am not kidding. Right as Microsoft is firing a bunch of people, their marketing department is like, oh man, check out our new controller. Feel the burn. Yeah, I'm sure the studios sure as hell felt the burn as you were gutting them down, but you know, that's just a little something that the Microsoft's marketing department cooked up for us. But earlier today, actually, I don't know if this was today, it might have been yesterday, there was an article posted by Jason Schreier, which, as you know, Jason Schreier usually likes to look at stuff and he gets a lot of information, inside information about everything that he talks about and whatnot. However, that article is behind a paywall, so I went to the next best place, which is Reddit, where I got a recap of the main talking points of the Jason Schreier article by user Silvery Death on the Xbox Series X subreddit. So key points from the article that are new information. This week, Xbox began offering voluntary severance agreements to producers, quality assurance testers, and other staff at ZeniMax, according to people familiar with the company's plans. Others across the Xbox organization have been told that more cuts are on the way. So they're not done, okay? We've already seen some absolutely insane destructions of studios, but Xbox is not even done. They need to go ahead and they need to cut down a couple more studios. See, when I first heard about the studios that were getting let go, among which there are Arkane Austin, who worked on that Redfall game, which, by the way, that was basically, Microsoft telling them, hey, how about you guys make us a live service game? To the studio that does the immersive sim games of Dishonored, which, I'll be real, I haven't really played that much Dishonored. You guys can check the stuff on my channel. I haven't really played any of those games, but I always hear good things from Dishonored and Dishonored 2 and some of the DLC. That studio also worked on another game called Prey, for which I also hear a lot of positive buzz, and they've worked on other titles before that. What do? All this studio does is focus on extremely immersive single-player video games. Microsoft goes and, hey, how about you make us one of them live service looters shooters? Make it about vampires. Vampires are popular right now, right? There's that game, Vampire Survivors. It's got the same thing, right? There's the other one, the V Rising one. Yeah, make one of those, but live service. Bro, there's some suits over there at Microsoft that are like, oh, we're so smart. Let's get our single-player studio to make us a live service game. Naturally, that game absolutely crashed and burned. But, the studio was doing their best. They're like, hey, we're going to make an offline mode for the game to ensure that you guys can play the game offline. Also, there's been pre-order things. There's going to be new characters that we need to work on. And Microsoft just said, you know what? To hell with all that. Just close it down. We're done. We're done with that video game. It's like, but we promised things to players. Yeah, forget about it. Just pretend we didn't do that. So, But anyways, when I first heard about this, right, Tango Gameworks, as well as Arkane Austin, which, by the way, I believe that Arkane was in the middle of pitching them another immersive single-player game. The kind of games that a lot of players actually really enjoyed from that studio, the type of game that they wanted to see that studio work on. They were in the middle of making another one of those. And so Microsoft, in their infinite wisdom, said, no, actually, we don't want to do that. We're going to cancel that, and we're going to shut you down because you failed us with Redfall, even though they say that it was not because of Redfall. But anyways, when I first heard about this situation, I was thinking to myself, well, what are the other studios that are working on like single-player games? You guys remember how earlier in this video I said that there's been almost no marketing at all for Hellblade? It's not Senua's Sacrifice. I forget what the tagline for Hellblade 2 is. Yeah, Ninja Theory, when Hellblade 2 gets released, well, what do you think's going to happen? I think Microsoft's going to be like, oh yeah, you guys just chill out and make Hellblade 3. No, I don't think that's going to happen. If I'm Ninja Theory, I'm looking at that release date, and it's like, oh man, that release date's certainly coming in to us really fast, huh? What are we going to be doing after that, huh, Microsoft? And good old Uncle Phil is real quiet. He ain't saying nothing. He's like, I don't know. Machine Games working on that single-player Indiana Jones game? Yeah. Yeah, when that game gets released, what are you guys going to be working on? Because remember, we just said they need to have more cuts. Obsidian? Avowed? I don't know if Microsoft would close down Obsidian. I think that might be a little bit too much conspiracy theory. But bro, Ninja Theory and Machine Games, I would imagine they're the next ones on the chopping block. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys let me know. There's actually a lot of these games that I don't actually play. But you guys let me know in the comment section down below, because one of the things that I definitely did not expect to see was Tango Gameworks, considering the amount of, accolades that Hi-Fi Rush has received. I played Hi-Fi Rush. I loved Hi-Fi Rush. I thought it was absolutely amazing, but So apparently Tango was in the process of pitching a sequel to Hi-Fi Rush, said people who asked not to be identified, discussing non-public information. Xbox President Matt Booty praised Hi-Fi Rush, but did not specify why the company had shut down the development studio behind it, according to 3 people who were in attendance at this town hall that Matt Booty held with the Xbox gaming division. Speaking about the closures more broadly, Booty said the company's studios had been spread too thin, like peanut butter on bread, and that leaders across the division had felt understaffed. They decided to close all these studios to free up resources elsewhere, he said. Need I remind people that Microsoft has been hoarding studios like a dragon? They're just like, give me that studio. I'll take that studio. I'll take that one. Yeah, we're going to just go ahead and buy Activision Blizzard for $69 billion, to the point where FCC and European trade commissions, or whatever, the people that actually manage all of these anti-monopoly stuff and whatnot, were saying, hey, wait a minute. You guys are definitely soaking up a lot of things here. I don't know how I feel about that. You guys just like hoarding all of this IP. We don't know about that. How stable is your business? And now they're like, oh, oops, it seems we bought too many studios. No, the reality of this is, and everybody knows where I'm going to be going with this, it was the pandemic, obviously. During the pandemic, people couldn't leave their houses. We were all in lockdown. There was nothing to do. What did people do? They consumed online entertainment. Some people went towards, Netflix, HBO Max, all of these different streaming services, while others went the route of video games. And as such, video games experienced one of the biggest booms ever. And what exactly do investors do when they see the line going up? Do they assume, like, hey, maybe this is a bubble. Let's be careful about this. This is probably not going to be something that's going to last. This whole situation is temporary. It's like, no, they got friggin' dollar signs in their eyes, and we're like, hey, look at the line going up, baby. This is the new standard. Line goes up forever. Stonks keep going up. They never come down. It always goes up, 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 and away. Here we go, baby. Let's go. Invest all the money. Reinvest everything. Dude, gaming is the most profitable thing ever. Put all the money in there. Then the pandemic ends. Things go back to normal, and now all of a sudden Xbox is going like, oh, oops. This actually wasn't working. It turns out the line stopped going up. Well, what do we do now? Close everything. We got to remain profitable for the good old shareholders, good old investors. They got to get their money. Let's go, baby. God, this is so frustrating that this is all a bunch of financial bullshit. There's so much talent out there, and it means nothing. It just gets thrown away. Anyways, Booty added that the shutdown of subsidiary Arkane Austin was not connected to the performance of its new multiplayer game, Redfall, a critical and commercial flop. Of course it's not. No, of course not. Before its closure, Arkane Austin had been looking to return to its roots by pitching a new single-player immersive sim game, something such as a new entry in the Dishonored series. Note that the last two Dishonored games were done by Arkane Leon, according to the people familiar. Jill Braff, head of ZeniMax Studios, said in the town hall that she hoped the reorganization would allow the division to put more focus on fewer projects. It's hard to support 9 studios all across the world with a lean central team with an ever-growing plate of things to do, she said. According to the audio of the meeting reviewed by Bloomberg, I think we're about to topple over, she added. Both Tango and Arkane released games last year, and were looking to hire additional staff as they pitched new projects, which Booty and Braff suggested was the main factor behind their closures. In regard, this person also added a thing in regards to Booty's last quote where they talk about by the end of Redfall's development, roughly 70% of the Austin staff who had worked on Prey would no longer be at the company. So that could be something that is an influence. Another thing to also bring up that I didn't bring up at the time is that the head of Tango Gameworks, Shinji Mikami, actually left earlier this year, I believe. He left the studio. He had planned on leaving a while ago, but he ended up leaving at this point. He said that he wanted this. He stayed as long as he did to ensure that this was a studio that could keep producing titles for new developers, almost like kind of like an incubation type of thing. Looks like Microsoft wasn't really willing to take that chance. Like, well, the big name's gone, so fuck all y'all. We're going to close you down. Have a couple of more articles here. I have one from Kotaku where they're talking about how after buying up studios, Xbox said it doesn't have the resources to run them. Yeah, like I'm saying, these guys have been hoarding these studios like it's their job. It's like, oh, give me this studio and this studio and this studio. And now they're shutting them down. And the reason they're shutting them down, by the way, instead of just like, oh, we're going to release these studios, they can go back to doing whatever they want independently. The reason they're shutting them down is because, well, if we shut them down, we get to keep the IP. Because IP is still extremely valuable. Brand recognition. Why do you think you get so many sequels, right? Because people recognize branding. This is one of the reasons why I always say that new IP is a tremendous risk in this industry. And, you know, now they have a bunch of IP that they get to keep and they don't need to keep the people behind it. Now, an interesting thing that happened after all this is that earlier during this town hall, Matt Booty says, oh, we need to make smaller games that win awards. And it's like, so wait a minute. You closed Tango Gameworks, who made Hi-Fi Rush, and they were reportedly about to pitch you a sequel to Hi-Fi Rush, which would arguably be a smaller game, that you guys kind of shadow dropped, gave no marketing support whatsoever, because Hi-Fi Rush, for those of you who don't remember, it was a shadow drop. It was like during an Xbox presentation, like, oh yeah, check out this game. It's available now. You can go buy it. Like, that was their marketing effort for this game. All right? It's in the middle of one of their showcases. They just dropped that down. Boom, here you go. It's available now. You can go play it now. No marketing effort whatsoever. They shadow dropped it, and then when questioned about it, they told you like, oh yeah, it performed adequately on everything that we wanted for it. It was a breakout hit, absolutely amazing. Then they shut him down. After they shut him down, Matt Booty goes on this town hall thing, and he goes like, oh, by the way, we need smaller games that win us awards.
We're due till...
Hello? Hello? Anybody home?
Oh.
Think, McFly. Think.
This one's a head-scratcher less than a day after shutting down both Arkane Austin and Tango Gameworks, the latter of which created Hi-Fi Rush. Microsoft's Matt Booty held a town hall wherein he proclaimed, we need smaller games that give us prestige and awards. And naturally, everybody on the internet is going like, what the hell are you guys doing? Who's running this company? What is wrong with you people? Like, get your act together. So anyway, the summary of this is a small-looking shadow drop-it game does great in all key measurements and expectations. Its developers has plans to pitch a sequel. Microsoft shuts down the studio suddenly because it wants to focus on high-impact titles and invest in Bethesda's portfolio of blockbuster games. In less than a day, the very same person who penned that email turns around and says it needs more games that sound a lot like what Hi-Fi Rush was. Yeah, dude. This is absolutely insane. But hey, at the very least, we can see that gamers are once again organizing, and somebody went ahead and, in revenge for what just happened, they nuked Phil Spencer's camp in Fallout 76. So at least there's that. And Phil Spencer has actually put in quite an inordinate amount of hours into that game, apparently. But yeah, this is just an absolute crappy situation for all parties involved, because fundamentally, if you're a PlayStation gamer, it is in your best interest that Xbox is doing well so that Sony remains competitive against Xbox. But Xbox is just like fumbling all over themselves. Now, a lot of people have been talking about Game Pass when it comes to this, because naturally there's one of the things that Microsoft wants is they want that Game Pass growth, and Game Pass has apparently not really been growing. Now, I've always said that while I think that Game Pass is tremendous value for consumers, because, you get access to a bunch of video games at reasonably low cost if you take into account the hours and hours of entertainment you can get out of it. But fundamentally, I've never liked the idea of consuming video games the same way that I consume Netflix. I like having my video games in my library for whenever I want to replay them. As a matter of fact, I prefer physical over digital, or I used to prefer physical over digital, because nowadays physical media doesn't even have the full game on disc a bunch of times, and it requires you to log into the internet to even get the thing. So eventually when the servers go down, all of those discs are nothing but expensive paperweights that are absolutely fucking worthless. But fundamentally, even going from a digital side of things, I don't like the idea that like, oh, this game is going away. I don't like that. I don't like that in a service, which is why I've never really been too into doing the whole Game Pass thing. But I've always questioned what is the value like for developers. And that is one of the things that is being questioned right now. Is Game Pass something that is sustainable? And I don't think it is. And yeah, this is a messed up situation. I feel really bad about all the people that have lost their jobs, especially because this also means that we're losing a lot of talent in the industry. Because, when a team is working, right, they have like a shorthand going. If you've been working on a same team for like 4 or 5 years, you know exactly who you got to talk to get something done. And trying to move that talent over to another company now, it's just a messy situation. And I don't know what is going to be the future of the industry at this pace. Because we're seeing the Helldivers 2 drama, because PlayStation is also trying to get more people to sign up for PSN accounts. Microsoft wants more people to sign up for Game Pass. This is all, to me, what it says is like, hey, we didn't really plan for what was going to happen after the end of the pandemic, so we don't actually know what we're supposed to do now. Oops. Anyway, I'm going to be having a live stream tomorrow where I'm going to be talking about the state of the industry with Legendary Drops. Hopefully you guys will tune into that. I think it'll be a very interesting discussion. But for now, That's going to be it. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, bell notification icon, all that jazz, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out.